You've been told the economy is K-shaped, winners going up, losers going down. Clean, simple, easy to explain on a slide deck. But here's the problem. That model was retired, and what replaced it, nobody is putting on a slide deck. Because what replaced it doesn't just describe where you are, it describes where you're going. If you have a savings account, a mortgage, a car payment, or you're using a credit card more than you were 2 years ago, this video is about you, not about the economy in general, about the specific position you are standing in right now inside a structure that most people can't even see, yet it's called the E-shaped economy. 3 tiers, 3 completely different Americas, living under the same flag, operating under the same system, experiencing something that feels like 3 different planets. And the most dangerous part? Most people don't know which tier they're actually in. Now, here's what makes this different from every recession conversation you've heard before. You probably assume the top is doing well, the bottom is struggling, and the middle is somewhere in between. That's what the K model told you, but the E doesn't work like that. In the E-shaped economy, the middle isn't between the top and the bottom. The middle is falling toward the bottom, and the data proves it in ways that should make you stop and reread the number. Let's start at the top, because the top tier of the E isn't just doing well. They are single-handedly holding up the entire U.S. economy. The top 10% of earners now account for nearly 50% of all consumer spending, almost 5 times their share of the population. That number was 36% just 30 years ago. So the economy isn't really growing. It's being propped up by a sliver of people spending at a rate that was never designed to be permanent. And corporate America figured this out before anyone else did. Chase Sapphire Reserve raised its annual fee to $795. Amex Platinum went to $895, and it worked. Airlines, hotel brands, luxury food companies, all of them reported stronger demand for premium products in late 20 and 25. Standard products slowing down, premium products accelerating. The top tier isn't just surviving the affordability crisis. Companies are engineering the entire economy around them because that's the only market that's reliably growing. But here's the number that's going to make the top tier's position look very different than it sounds. We'll get there. Now, the middle bar of the E, this is where most people watching this actually live, and I need to be very specific about what is happening here because it doesn't look like a crisis from the outside. You're not broke, you're not defaulting, but every few months, something surges. Eggs calm down, beef jumps 22%, beef stabilizes, gas spikes, gas drops, insurance goes up, inflation, whack-a-mole, and your wages are not keeping up with the game. Middle-income workers saw real hourly wages rise about $1.75 between 2020 and 2025, 66 cents less than pre-pandemic trends predicted. Higher-income households saw wage growth of 5.6% year over year. The middle class, 2%. The gap isn't just about what things cost. The wages were already falling behind before the bill even arrived, and here's the behavioral signal that economists can't ignore. The middle class has quietly migrated into what's now being called the Costco economy, hunting for bulk deals, switching to store brand, behaviors that used to belong exclusively to lower income households. When the middle class starts shopping like the bottom tier, the E-shape stops being a description. It becomes a direction. But here's what makes the middle bar the most dangerous place in the entire E. The bottom tier has spent decades learning to survive with almost nothing. They know how. The middle tier still has a mortgage, a car payment, kids in school, obligations built for an economy that no longer exists for them. More to lose, a shrinking buffer, and a bottom floor that's closer than it looks. Now the bottom. And I need you to sit with these numbers because this is where the data stops being economics and starts being something else entirely. A quarter of all buy now, pay later users reported using those loans to buy groceries in 2025, up from 14% the year before. Buy now, pay later was sold as a way to afford a television, a new phone, a pair of shoes. It has become a debt instrument for food. Nearly 24% of all American households had expenses consuming 95% or more of their income in 2025. That leaves 5 cents of every dollar for savings, emergencies, and the future. That's not a budget. That's a wire stretched to its breaking point. And when tax season comes, which used to feel like a bonus, over a third of Americans expecting a refund say they'll use it to pay down debt, not save it, not invest it. The annual refund has quietly become a debt payment that comes once a year. Now, here's the detail that reframes everything above it. Dollar Tree gained 3 million new shoppers recently. Roughly 60% of those new shoppers come from households earning over $100,000 a year. High-income Americans are entering discount stores. The line between tiers isn't just blurring. In some places, it's reversing. Here's what nobody is saying out loud. The E-shaped economy is not a market outcome. It was built, capital gains taxed at lower rates than wages, carried interest loopholes protecting private equity, a housing market where existing owners are locked in by golden handcuffs and new buyers are locked out entirely by price. For the first time ever, a quarter of lower and middle income households spend more than half their yearly income on rent alone. That number was 20% in 2019, and the AI divide is now building a second E inside the business world, the same structural split, playing out all over again, one tier pulling away from the next. The E shape isn't describing the economy, it is the operating model of the economy. And here's the part that most people miss entirely. The bottom bar of the E, most assume COVID created it. It didn't. The post-2008 recovery never reached the bottom. What lower income Americans got after 2008 was gig work without benefits, dollar stores instead of grocery stores, payday loans functioning as a banking system. The pandemic didn't break the economy for people at the bottom. It turned on the lights so everyone else could finally see what had been happening down there for 15 years. At the beginning of this video, you saw the economy as K-shaped, winners up, losers down. Now you see three floors, one spine, one structure. The top floor is thriving. The middle floor is stressed but standing. The bottom floor has been underwater for 15 years. And here's the truth about buildings. When the foundation erodes long enough, it doesn't matter how high up your floor is. The E-shaped economy isn't a warning about the poor. It's a warning about the structure. And the structure has been showing its cracks for a very long time. Now, which bar of the E are you actually standing on? And more importantly, what do you actually do depending on where you are?